Hey, Scott Marsh, the Mind Body Mentor here, and here just before 2017 kicks in. Wow, 2016 is gone, my friends, or pretty much gone, and it's taken a lot of people with it, which is kind of sad. But today I want to focus on New Year goal setting. I know this is a bit cliche, and I think every single person I know is actually doing this at the moment, but I wanted to give my perspective on it. I've set a hell of a lot of New Year's resolutions over my time, and I've failed a hell of a lot of New Year's resolutions over my time. So this year, I'm setting my resolutions a little bit differently, and I just wanted to share with you how I'm doing it, so hopefully it'll help you move forwards too. Now, if you've been on Facebook or any social media at the moment, I'm sure you've got the same sort of reaction that I had the other day, is that I had to turn it off. The reason I had to turn it off was because every single man, woman, uncle, auntie, daughter, dog is basically spouting their plans, their pills, their potions, all of these things, and it is just completely overwhelming. And I want you just to consider something for me a second, is that when it comes to actually achieving something in your life, is that when have you ever done it when you've been completely overwhelmed, stressed, and completely burdened by this new goal? Never, right? Most of the time when we actually achieve our goals is that actually it's because we're in the right sort of mindset. We're relaxed, we're focused, and we've just basically got enough headspace and capacity to actually help us move forwards. So this is the key area that I want you to think about to start off with, is that first of all, make sure that you are in the right place before you start setting yourself on a goal. Because I don't want you to fail, you don't want you to fail. Start there, because when you actually start here, you can actually slow things down a little bit and really identify what it is that you want in your life, what it is you want to feel. The problem is, I think at the moment, especially this time of year, is that as there is so much being touted to us, whether it's, as I said, pills, potions, programs, lifestyle coaches, all these other things as well, is that it starts getting us overwhelmed. And when we're overwhelmed, we're actually in the wrong part of our brain. So the part of our brain that we need active and online to actually achieve all of our goals is actually an area called the prefrontal cortex, which kind of sits over this area. This area is actually all designed around motivation and excitement and vision and looking forwards and dreaming and all of these sort of things, all the key ingredients that you need to actually move forwards. When we're being overwhelmed, we can't actually access this part of the brain particularly well. We start to go back to kind of more prehistoric areas of the brain, which are focused on safety and security and things like that, which is normally where most people start their programs in, which is why they ultimately fail, because they haven't got the right headspace or capacity to move forwards with their goals. So how I want you to just start off is actually, first of all, drop the FOMO, or the fear of missing out, okay? Because you're not missing out on anything. And actually, by taking a bit of time at this time of year to really analyse what you want in your life or what you want to change, will actually give you so much more space as you go through, and just watch as you completely overtake everyone who's quit, failed, and to completely miserably upset themselves as they actually don't achieve everything they want in their first month of January. So start off with a question for me. I want you to start off with, how is it that I want to feel? It sounds a bit silly talking about feelings when it comes to goal setting, but not enough people do it. So when it comes to feelings, is that you've got to think is that most of your goals that you've ever set yourself were based on a feeling. Probably a negative feeling, you didn't want to feel a particular way, but ultimately they were based on a feeling. Because the whole idea when you set that goal was that if you didn't want to feel a certain way, surely you wanted to feel a certain way. You already had clarity on how you wanted to feel. And that's what clarity that I want you to have right now before you jump into anything in the new year is, how do you want to feel? Is it more confident? Is it happy? Is it excited? Is it motivated? Because there's always going to be a feeling behind it. Weight loss may be your vessel that helps you get there, but weight loss isn't the ultimate goal. Okay? But then the other question I want you to consider is actually, as you're spending a little bit more time on this, is actually work out what is it that's stopping you feeling that way right now. Okay, so most people will go, oh, it's definitely the weight. It's definitely the weights that's basically stopping me feeling that way. Well, having been there and in your shoes, just under 18 stone, is that, yeah, I can kind of get it. But at the same time as well, is that I also understand is that I had the choice when I was overweight to completely decide how I wanted to feel. So this is the big thing I want you to consider, is what is actually stopping you right now from feeling how you deserve to feel right now. And once you start listing them, you'll start realising that there's common themes. You're going to start finding there's things like lack of time, too stressed at work, putting myself at the bottom of the pile, all of these sorts of things. These are the areas that really need to be worked on. If you actually start working on those areas, the things that are stopping you feeling how you want to feel right now, you will ultimately find that it's 10 times easier to stick to your goal and get everything that you want. But most people do it almost reverse thing. They actually just try and do some weight loss, throw themselves in, get overwhelmed, get panicky, quit. They never actually get to feel how they want to feel, which makes them feel even worse in the first place. So My friends, start with how do you want to feel, then move on to what's stopping you, and then whatever program you choose, whether it's one of my own programs or whether it's another person's program who you decide that you want to work with, that's great. But just make sure that when you're jumping into that plan, that there's some way that you're actually going to be addressing those things that are actually stopping you feeling a certain way. Because if you're not, you're just going to create more chaos, more overwhelm, and you're ultimately going to stop doing what you said you'd do. And when you stop doing what you said you're going to do, you're going to find that's when your self-belief starts going down. When your self-belief starts going down, that's what's going to stop you actually picking up that goal again and actually moving forwards, learning from your mistakes and moving forwards. And that's what ultimately I want you to do. Okay, so my friends, I know this time is completely overwhelming, I know it's manic, but I know you're also going to get to that stage on January the 1st when goals are going to be starting to be set. So make sure you start setting goals the right way. Start thinking about you, start thinking about what you want, and start thinking about ultimately what you need to achieve it. Once you've got that, you start avoiding all of the drama and you start working with data and you can really start moving forwards. So that's Scott Marsh, the Mind Body Mentor, out for today, and I hope it's helped in some way.